Playwright Edward Albee lives by a simple rule.
Yes is better than no.
In all things?
In all things, yes.
But Albee is neither a pushover nor a simple man. After all, he breathed life into these two.
Oh, you really are a bastard. I? Yeah, you! Sweetheart.
George and Martha, the married couple who battle till dawn in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, on stage and on screen, played by the real-life battling Burtons, Elizabeth Taylor, and then husband Richard Burton.
Stop it, Martha.
Like hell I will.
In fact, George and Martha are still going at it
Big fat flop.
50 years after the original production, in a new staging on Broadway.
Stop it, Martha.
The hell I will. You see, George didn't have much push. He wasn't particularly aggressive. In fact, he was a sort of a flop. A great, big, fat flop.
I said stop, Martha.
Who could resist the chance to ask the playwright everything we want to know about what's considered one of America's greatest plays?
Specifically with George and Martha, are those based on people that you knew?
There are probably elements of the personalities of some people that I've known that turn up there, but I find people that I can invent are usually more interesting than real people.
At times, interviewing Albee can become a game of wits.
What is Virginia Woolf about?
What's it about? It's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. That question troubles me so much. What is your play about? It's about everything that happens in it.
You don't like to boil it down.
Any play that can be described in one sentence should be 1 sentence long.
You want me to act like you? Do you want me to go around all night braying at everybody the way you do?
I don't bray!
All right. You don't.
Albee controls all aspects of productions of his plays, from selecting the actors, director, and even how his name and the play's title are written on the marquee. It's a way of protecting his work from the commercialism that he says is destroying Broadway.
It's all about not doing the best plays, but doing the ones that will sell the most tickets.
Which are what, usually?
Usually junk.
Do you go see them?
Very seldom. I used to go see more since I'm one of the voters for the stuff. Now I just lie.
On your Tony ballot? Sure, that was okay.
Albee's written some 30 plays in all and won his first Tony Award for Virginia Woolf back in 1963. It's by far his most famous, and early on, it was a bit infamous, too.
Going back to '62, a lot of the people who were involved in the production of Virginia Woolf were nervous about the subject matter, about the language. Were you nervous?
Well, I would hope so.
You wanted them to be nervous?
Well, no, I mean, I knew the play was going to be a little troubling to some people, but I write what the play needs.
And if that means it offends some people?
Well, I think if you don't offend some people, you're probably failing in some way.
And if you think he's kidding, just watch as he talks about the award that got away.
Speaking of offending people, of course, the Pulitzer jury chose Virginia Woolf for the Pulitzer in '62.
And I thought that was a fairly reasonable choice. Yeah.
And then the board said, no. We're not awarding it to him.
Yes.
What'd you make of that?
Well, I realized fairly quickly that I was going to get much more publicity out of having the Columbia University board turning down Virginia Woolf than I would have gotten just for getting it.
Albee went on to win 3 Pulitzer Prizes for drama. For A Delicate Balance just 4 years later in 1967, Seascape in 1975, and 3 Tall Women in 1994.
When people ask you how many you have, I say 3.5.
The half being the one that almost was.
Well, it was, but the Columbia University drudges took it away from me.
Edward Albee was adopted as a baby in Washington, D.C. by Reed and Frances Albee. The Albees were heirs to a vaudeville theater chain. Young Edward grew up rich, financially at least.
I didn't like them very much. I don't think they approved of me very much either. But they were stuck with me, and I was stuck with them, until I was 18. But they gave me a first-rate private school education.
So you're grateful for that?
Yeah, and I guess I'm enormously grateful that I was adopted. I just don't think we were the right people for each other.
You cut off contact with them for a while?
And as soon as I legally could, when I was 18, I left and gave up all the creature comforts.
It was 1948. Albee came here, Greenwich Village, New York, a place where he could thrive as an artist and as a person who's openly gay.
Why would I keep it a secret? It's my nature.
Did you run up against any barriers because of that?
Are you kidding? Well, of course.
Well, so that's why you might want to hide it.
Yes, but I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not ashamed of it. Why should I go along with people who are idiotic?
His relationship with his parents was one he struggled to understand.
Did you try to reconcile?
Not with my adopted father. He died before I could. And my adopted mother, started growing old, so I was a dutiful son. But I don't think we ever really related to each other.
It seems that she was quite proud of you.
She was quite proud of Edward Albee.
Edward Albee, not you. Is there a difference?
Edward Albee, the playwright, the well-known playwright.
She liked that
She
fame.
liked that a lot.
While Albee didn't find parental love, he did find romantic love with sculptor Jonathan Thomas. Thomas died of cancer in 2005.
The longest relationship I'd had, 35 years, yeah.
And I think you've said the love of your life.
Yeah, really good guy.
Albee had his own brush with mortality last summer when his doctor posed a question.
Do you want to have open heart surgery or not? And I said, if I don't, he said, you will die. It occurred to me, either it's going to work, and I'll be an awful lot better, and then I can go on, or it's not going to, and I won't know. So there's really no choice there, is there?
For now, at least, he walks slowly and with a cane. He's 84 and back to what he loves.
Are you in the middle of writing a play right now?
3/4 of the way finished it. Do you want to know the title?
Sure.
Laying an Egg.
Edward Albee says it's his plays that are important, not the playwright. But as the world continues its appreciation, not only of his writing, but of how his plays are performed, you can't help but realize how important Edward Albee, the man, remains.
Are you optimistic?
Am I optimistic about what, being alive? I've always
Yeah.
been optimistic about being alive. 'Cause
About the
as I said,
future.
I prefer yes to no. I prefer being alive to being dead. I prefer all those things, yes.